Good evening, all of you. We are BE Civil students, and in our group, we have 4 members: Vishal Ade, Pritesh Kadam, myself, Abhijit Kalane, and Niwritinath Biradar. First slide. And our topic is environmental impact assessment. First, we have to know what is EIA. An environmental impact assessment is an assessment of the possible positive or negative impact that is proposed project may have on their environment, considering the natural, social, and economic aspects. Next slide. Here, according to the International Association of Impact Assessment, means IAIA, process of identifying, predicting, evaluating, and mitigating the biophysical, social, and other relevant effects of development proposal prior to the major decision being taken and commitments made. Next slide. Here is the existence, means where EIA is existed. EIA in international environmental law context. First one is the Convention on Environmental Impact Assessment in a Transboundary Context, ISPO 1991. And second one is the Rio Declaration in 1992. Here, next slide. World Bank has given the criteria for project categories. Project categories are divided into 3 categories: Category A, Category B, and Category C. Here is the Category A. Category A, if the project is likely to have significant impact that are sensitive drivers or unprecedented. These impacts may affect on area broader than the communities benefiting from infrastructure investment. And category B involves if the project potential adverse environmentally impact on a human populations or environmentally important areas are less adverse than those category A project, and these impacts are a specific. Few of any of them are irreversible, and in most of the cases of mitigation, measures can be designed more readily than category A projects. Now I hand over to Pritesh.
Category C. If the project is likely to have minimal or no adverse environmental impact, once the project is assessed and determined as category C, no further action would be required. Some examples of categories C project include education, that is the capacity building, not including school construction. Preparation of terms of reference, TOR. TOR sets out what is expected of practitioner or a consultant when carrying out environmental impact assessment. TORs can be simple or elaborate, but elaborate TORs are usually not recommended. There are no universal formats for terms of reference which will be suitable for every study. So here is a flowchart, generalized flowchart for the process of EIA. It contains proposal identification, then it comes screening, then it is identified EIA is required or not. After that, scoping comes, then impact analysis, mitigation and impact management, then EIA report, review, and then decision making. If it is approved, then implementation is done. If not approved, then resubmitted and redesigned. Environmental impact assessment process. The first phase of EIA is called as initial environmental examination, IEE, and second environmental impact studies, EIS, or simply detailed EIA. The first step is screening. It is done to determine whether or not a proposal should be subject to EIA, and if so, at what level of detail. Guidelines for whether or not an EIA is required are country specific depending on the laws and norms in operation. Second one is scoping. Scoping is used to identify the key issues of concern at an early stage in planning process. The results of scoping will determine the scope, depth, and terms of reference to be addressed within the environmental statement. The third one is the baseline data collection. Baseline data is collected for 2 main purposes. First one is to provide description of current status and trends of environmental factors. Second one is to provide a means of predicting actual change by monitoring once a project has been initiated. Now I hand over to Vital Adi.
The fourth step is that impact analysis and prediction, predicting the magnitude of our development likely impacts and evaluating their significance is core of environmental assessment process. For prediction should be based on the available environmental baseline of the project area. The fifth step is that to analyze of alternatives. It is done to establish the prepared or most environmentally sound, financially feasible, and winnings of action for achieving of project objectives. Next slide. The sixth step is that mitigation and impact management. It is done to avoid, minimize, or offset predicted adverse impact and where appropriate to incorporate this into an environmental management plan or system. The seventh step is that environmental management plan and EMP is a detailed plan and schedule of measures necessary to minimize and mitigate, etc., any potential environmental impact identified by the EIA, environmental impact assessment. The eighth step is that environmental impact assessment. The final EIA report is prepared to as the environmental impact statement. The next slide. Ninth step is that decision making. At each stage of EIA, interim decisions are made. Their decision influences final decision made about the EIA. The 10th step is that effective EIA follow-up in practice and EMP, which is subjected with the EIS report, should be used during the implementation and operation of the project. Next slide. The EIA guideline principles. Following are the EIA guideline principles. First one is that participative. Second one is that transparency. Third is certainty. Fourth is accountability. Fifth one is creditability. Sixth one is cost and effectiveness. Seventh is practical. Eighth is relevant. Ninth is focus. 10th is interdisciplinary. 11th is integrated. Now I hand over to Nirvatinath.
Slide. Environmental impact assessment in India. The Ministry of Environment and Forest is the agency for environmental clearance. If necessary, it may consult a committee of expert with composition specified in Schedule 3rd of the notification. The main law in India. Subpoint main law in India contains Water Act 1974, Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972, Prevention and Control of Pollution, that is Act 1981. Fourth one is Environmental Protection Act 1981. After that, we have to see externalities of environmental impact assessment. It consists of positive externalities and negative externalities. First of all, we have to see positive externalities. It contains new job generation, economic growth of stimulated, growth of local business enterprises supported. Third one, development of supporting and complementary industries, influx of capital and disposal incomes. After that, we have to see negative externalities. First one, impact on health of local populations. Next one, additional pressure on the existing physical infrastructure, that is sewers, water supply, etc. Third one, decline in community cohesion. Fourth one, change cultural values. After that, we have to see conclusion of our seminar topic. We have to conclude two conclusions. Environmental impact assessment is a very beneficial step to check whether the project is environmental friendly or not. Next one is, since economic development is a result of interaction between natural resources and technology supported by the design for peoples, so all human activities should be economic and social and environment friendly. Thank you.